Proverbs 28:8, generosity with the poor. Wait, Proverbs 28:8. Whoever multiplies his wealth by interest and profit gathers it for him who is generous to the poor. Now, I don't know if that applies to loan companies and companies that do it legally, or if it applies to loan sharks, or we know those people that they'll loan you $100 and they want you to pay them back 150. I'm not sure who, if it's just anyone who does that, because God's people, the Israelites, they were allowed to loan at interest to outside nations, but they were not to loan at interest to fellow Israelites. So I'm not sure how widespread this is, but again, whoever multiplies his wealth by interest and profit gathers it for him who is generous to the poor. It goes back to that other scripture that I don't remember what it was, but it says something like the wealth of the unrighteous is stored up for the righteous. So my whole point is this, is that if you are generous with the poor, okay, this applies to everyone. Don't sit there and say, well, I am poor, so I can't be generous with the poor. I was homeless. I was paying tithes and offerings. Any money I got, I gave at least 10%. It was generally more, a lot of times half. I would give it to somebody else who was homeless. This applies to everyone. It's about making sacrifices, subscriptions, eating out, memberships. There's so much stuff we can live without. Keeping old clothes and not buying new clothes. Almost all of my clothes were given to me for free. So you can get clothes for free. Most clothes is done by slave labor anyway, so buying new clothes is not a good thing. And I honestly suspect that that's why the Lord put me in a position where I couldn't buy new clothes, so that way I wouldn't be feeding into that system. Because garment factories are like sweatshops. And most Americans don't work producing clothes because they won't pay them a fair wage. So make sacrifices, give to the poor, and please know, if you are not paying tithes and offerings, if you are not being generous with the poor, helping out folks who are homeless, whatever, making those sacrifices, you are doing what this program wants you to do. When you give to the poor, it is like acquiring superpowers from the Lord. Now that's God's presence as a force field where he is working supernaturally on your behalf. He's not going to give you superpowers like the Greek gods would give people superhuman powers. He could, I mean, he sort of did to Samson, but that's very rare. And Samson lost his power at one point. So in the end, he lost his power. But regaining it back very briefly, and he destroyed a lot of the Philistines before he himself was destroyed in the process. But you'll experience God as a miracle worker. Okay, and that's a key thing. If you're not doing this, you're doing what this program, they don't want you doing this, and you're doing what they want. Okay, help my humble channel grow. Like, subscribe, share, comment, any combination thereof. God bless.